But let's get into Kiely Rodni. The reason that I started doing true crime content with the Kiely Rodni case was because I was watching Ryan Upchurch. I've been a fan of Ryan Upchurch since like 2016 or so. I think he's funny, right? I like his music. He lives like an hour away at best. So the songs that he sings when he's referring to his life, to his experiences, those are my experiences. We're close to the same age. I'm a little bit older than him, but we had a very similar youth, right? The Kiely Rodni case in general, for anybody who's not aware of it, we're giving the narrative here, right? The official narrative, the story put out as by the media, just to be clear, because we have a lot of questions that are still unanswered, and as far as I know, that case is still not closed. So we have a 16-year-old girl who goes to a graduation party, right? She goes with her friend, Meg. They get there together. As soon as they get out, they are bombarded with guys trying to get them to drink and do drugs. Well, Meg is overwhelmed and she leaves with her boyfriend. Kiely continues to get wasted at this party, her and Sammy, while they're bouncing in and out, going back and forth, talking to groups of people, always meeting back up. They used the car kind of as like a hub where they kept the alcohol and the phone chargers and stuff. When they all decided to leave, well, Meg's already left, right? Sammy was supposed to ride home with Kiely, but Sammy got another ride because Kiely was too drunk to drive and Sammy didn't want to ride with her. No, Sammy didn't give Kiely a ride. She didn't offer Kiely another ride. She didn't call Kylie's parents and say, hey, she's way too drunk to drive. I don't want her to drive. Please go pick her up. She didn't do any of that. She just caught her own ride, worried about herself, as a lot of teenagers are going to do, and left Kiely there. But even though she had went to Kiely and told Kiely, hey, I got another ride. I don't need to ride with you. I'm good. Don't worry about me. And left with somebody else. A few minutes later, Kiely still called her to ask her, do you need a ride? She said no. She already had a ride. She was already gone. And that was the last time that anybody spoke to Kiely, according to Sammy, at least, right? So then Kiely proceeds to drive, this is the official narrative, to drive from her spot where she was parked and where she needed to turn left to go out of the park, out of the campground. Instead, she turned right. And she turned right and went off into this big reservoir of water. If you're not from anywhere that has reservoirs and stuff, just think a big, huge lake, right? Like a big pond, a big lake. She drives off into this. And she can't get out. She drowns in her car. But nobody knows that she drove into this lake. Nobody knows she was in that water. So there's a huge manhunt going on. Everybody's searching for her the next day. Where did Kiely go? Was Kiely abducted? Is it human trafficking? Does the cartel have her? What's going on? So all these theories pop up, right? From drugs and her friends did it and she run off with somebody or she's been abducted. All these different theories. Well, then we have a tow truck driver. And he comes out and he says that the day after that party, he had went to another reservoir, I'll say it was like Boca, and helps a girl who he says he's 100% sure was Kiely, and a guy. And they were being weird and, the car wouldn't start and they were on the side of the road and they said they had been there all night and they looked like they were hungover or had a rough night or whatever. And she seemed like she was kind of avoiding the other guy that was with her. They wouldn't be on the same side of the car at once. All this stuff, right? So obviously, you've got people coming up with theories and conspiracies. You've got Sammy. Sammy said some things that also got a lot of people talking. I'm trying to condense this story as much as possible. But there was a lot of speculation and theory about what happened to Kiely. And they're on a huge manhunt. 20,000 man hours were spent looking for Kiely. And they couldn't find her. Even though the last phone pings for her location was right there at the campground. They couldn't find her. Searched everywhere. Adventures with Purpose. Now, we all know, I hope everybody in chat knows that Adventures with Purpose is no longer worth supporting whatsoever. That the owner of Adventures with Purpose is exactly the type of person that we were just talking about previously. Exactly that person, to his own cousin, admitted by him in emails, charged. Now, it was Doug Bishop and Nick Wren, and I guess some of the other crew, right? Josh Cantu, maybe. First, they want to start at Prosser, but the police have already searched Prosser, right? That's the closest place to the last place she was seen. They wanted to start there, but police had already searched there. So they didn't start there, because the police had checked it. So they go to where the tow truck driver said he saw her, right? They go over at Boca, and they're looking there. Well, they spend the first day searching for her. No luck. Like, they didn't find her. They checked all the waterways around until they get back to Prosser. Prosser Reservoir is the campground she went missing from. Police, like, we've already searched it here. Doug Bishop says, well, no disrespect or anything, but we have a standard where if we haven't searched it, it hasn't been searched. 30 minutes. 30 minutes for Doug Bishop and Nick Wren to find Kiely Rodni's car. Dive down, confirm a body inside the car. It was Kiely. They pull the car out. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of true crime YouTubers talking about the case. Things are going wild. During this time, Ryan Upchurch, the guy I was talking about earlier, the one who I'm a fan of, love his music, all that, he's been talking about the Kiely Rodni case. And he's got some theories, and he's doing panels, and he's investigating, and he's put out, before Adventures with Purpose had found her, he put out a $100,000 reward and a Hellcat. So basically a $200,000 reward for whoever has information on Kiely. Now in the video that Ryan Upchurch posted today, he says that he did that because he was trying to entice the kids, because she was supposedly at a party with 200 or 300 people. But the only people that have ever come out and said they were at that party are her friends who were involved in the investigation, right? So these hundreds of people, they just never came forward. Adventures with Purpose got the money and the car, right? Ryan Upchurch paid it out. He paid out his reward because they found Kiely Rodni. But Ryan Upchurch said some crazy shit during the theories. We all probably said some crazy shit. We all probably said some things we wish we wouldn't have said, but he went off the rails some with it, right? He started saying, well, we don't even know that Kiely Rodni really exists. She's not even a real person. Then he starts saying that certain true crime YouTubers are involved in it or helping cover it up. Now, when he first went into that, it was understandable for me. Not the Kiely Rodni isn't real. I said that was ridiculous from the start, right? And my start on YouTube got in because I made a video and I was like, Ryan, chill out with that. Like, maybe there's a very small chance that you're right about that, but the major chance is that you're wrong about that. So now you're claiming somebody didn't exist and they have parents, right? Their parents are hurting. We have to just assume the person's real. I mean, it makes no sense to stage all this for some false flag. Like, this is a unknown teenager who just it would make no sense, right? But because he said it and he has a huge following And because there were no videos coming out from the party, there was no pictures coming out from the party, there were no kids wanting attention and clout coming out and saying they were at the party, it caught on, right? There's not many pictures of Kiely whatsoever floating around the internet compared to other people in similar cases, right? So that theory, it kind of caught on a little bit with certain people who believed it, and they pushed it. And apparently some of those people who believed that theory took it way too far, started contacting and threatening and just being out of line in general, right? I have a rule as a true crime YouTuber. I'm not the news. I don't report on these cases. I talk about these cases. I find this shit interesting. I like to think about what's going on and what could this be and what could that be and what does this mean, what does that mean. I don't fancy myself a detective though. Like I'm not contributing to the overall case, and I'm not going to insert myself into the case. I'm not going to call and try to do interviews with family members or suspects or none of that shit, right? Leave that to JLR and the rest of them. If they want to be reporters, be reporters. I'm a construction worker. I do this for fun. I talk about this with y'all because my old lady gets tired of me talking to her about this stuff, right? So, anyway, people fall into believing it. There's all these theories going on from Ryan Upchurch about Icket Mel. He's descrambling his name and he's calling out this Zanime woman who's like some Ukrainian woman who was a fan of Icket Mel, who started her own YouTube channel. And there was enough there to make some dots, right? Not enough to start making lines through and connecting everything, but there was enough there to have a board. And people took it and ran with it, and they made up their own stories, and they harassed people, and they got mad at anybody who didn't agree with them. And basically how the true crime community is right now, where everybody is mad if somebody has a different opinion than them. No, I come on here all the time and I tell you that I believe in freedom of speech. And that doesn't mean that I only agree with freedom of speech when you're saying something that I agree with, when you're saying something that I think is good, right? It means I believe in freedom of speech all the time. I don't think the government should come after you for words whatsoever, unless you're inciting violence, unless you're calling people to arms, right? That's when speech is no longer just a freedom. That's when it becomes an action, and that's when it's actionable. And all speech should be free of consequences from the government. But speech isn't free of consequences from the people hearing that speech, right? So if you say something about me and I don't like it, I have the right to sue you. Now, whether I win or I lose, irrelevant, right? And everybody's been reporting and making a big deal about the fact that Kiely Rodni's family, that they have filed a civil lawsuit against Ryan Upchurch. Now, I ain't really commented on it much. I said something on J-Rod's stream the other day about it because it's a civil lawsuit. It's not criminal. They're trying to get money from Ryan Upchurch, saying that he caused them some kind of damages. Now, whether he did or not, work all that out in court. I don't know. I don't know if what he said caused them problems, right? I'm not living their life. At the same time, I don't care. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that Ryan Upchurch cares that he's being sued by Kiely Rodni's family. I'm sure he would prefer not to be. I follow Ryan Upchurch. Remember, I'm a fan of Ryan Upchurch. Just because I think you said some crazy shit over here doesn't discount everything else, right? At least not to me. That's not how I am. So I'm still a fan of Ryan Upchurch. His mom has betrayed him, trying to steal his money they're in court right now battling that out. So I think that's more important, right? Like your mom betraying you, trying to steal your money. I think that's going to weigh heavier on his heart than this missing girl who I gave $200,000 to the people who found her as a reward. Her family's trying to get some money from me. I believe the mom thing's a bigger deal. And then just last week, the guy from Redneck Nation, the guy who helped Ryan get started to show him the ropes of certain things, he's caught on tape where he's plotting to try to buy botted views to put on Upchurch's videos so that they can report it and get Ryan Upchurch kicked off of YouTube, kicked off of social media. No, that's not that big of a deal, right? Social media, well, people don't need to be on social media, right? Right, that's what a lot of people think. But Ryan's an independent artist. So the only way that he promotes his music is with social media, right? That's a huge tool for him. So to have somebody who's supposed to be your friend, somebody who's supposed to help you become the best person you can be, and that he gave Upchurch a boost, and then Ryan Upchurch took off and grabbed him and took him with him, right? Only for them to get all the way to the top and him reach up and stab Ryan in the back. Ryan took care of his mom, had her living in Ghost Ranch, huge house. Well, paying her whatever. You own this company. You manage this. You take care of that. I trust you with my life. You're my mother. She betrays him. That's all current. Going on as we speak. Nothing here is old. Right? So I just don't see it as very likely that Ryan Upchurch cares all that much, whether or not he's being sued by Kiely Rodni's family. No, like I said, it's a civil lawsuit, right? And I just told you about two big things I feel, it's big for me, big in my eyes, going on in Ryan's life, right? But let's look back at other people who have tried to sue Ryan in civil court. Nicole Arbor, that's a crazy one. Check that one out. Nicole Arbor has told the judge that Ryan has bodies buried in his backyard. That he put something in her drink the night that he took her to the hospital because she felt like something might have been put in her drink. I'm not going to get into it, but she lost the lawsuits, right? Lost the lawsuits, maybe settled one somewhere about something. I don't keep up with it that much. But the guy's been sued a lot. The guy's currently got so much more going on than what Kiely Rodni's family is trying to get money from him. I don't really see why it's relevant for the true crime community to be talking about Ryan Upchurch. Ryan Upchurch is going to farm you guys every moment. Like, he's going to make fun of you. He's going to pick on you. I wouldn't be surprised if he took this video right here and made fun of me. I don't give a fuck, right? But he's going to do that. He's going to entice. He's going to play. He likes to play games like that. That's what he's going to do, and he's going to make content out of it. Right? So, I don't get why you would engage and try to start a beef with somebody with a channel that big, with followers that dedicated, over something that he probably doesn't care that much about. Right? I don't know. What do you guys think? I really don't know what the Rodni family have to sue him over. I mean, I know he said Kiely Rodni wasn't a real person, right? But he was putting out theories. I don't know what was wrong with him at the time. I could make some guesses. I don't care to, right? Like I said, I'm a fan. I don't know what was going on with him at the time. But he said some crazy stuff. You can't sue somebody for saying that they don't think somebody existed. Right? But now Icked Mel and Zanime, he said some things. He really, almost accusatory, right? Now, with the Ronnie Jones situation, I understand. I understand why Upchurch was freaking out so bad that everybody was acting like it wasn't that big of a deal. When you have like a 30-something-year-old man calling into the true crime show talking about a party that he says he wasn't at, even though he's describing it for tick for tat of exactly how the rest of the people describe the parties, saying he's seeing it through the eyes of his cousins who didn't know Kiely, but somehow watched her through the whole night of the party while she stumbled through drunk, even though they had no idea who she was or whatever. They watched her, and then comes back and reports to him, and then Ronnie Jones, out of his own mouth, is saying that his cousins were the older guys in their 20s from college who would go to these parties and hang out with these younger girls and take alcohol and drugs to give to these younger girls so these younger girls would talk to them. Sounds like a messed up situation. Sounds like there's a whole lot of questions in the Kiely Rodni case that never got answered. We're not even talking about the fact, like none of the autopsy results. We're not even getting into none of that. Just the story around it. Just the actions and the things that were going on. Because it's real easy right now to look back at the case. Only read the clippings, right? The mainstream media clippings to go back and refresh on what was going on with the case at that time. And you miss all the underbelly of what was really going on at that case, at that time. What the internet was saying. What people, investigators, what doctors, what lawyers, what other investigators were saying about the case and about the way the case was being handled, right? You go back to that, then you have a lot more context. Then it starts to make more sense of the things that were being said and the reasons people were being accused. And even though I don't think that Icked Mel or Zanime or weirdo Tony Dodge had anything to do with any of that stuff, right? Like, I mean, obviously. But in the moment, let's say somebody's mind may be a little altered, right? I mean, I'm drinking Disaronno and Coke. I'm out of it now, but drinking, maybe I'm get on here and say something that I wish I could take back, right? But once you say it, it's out there. And it's damn sure out there once you say it if you've got 3 million subscribers, right? If you've got a community as big as Ryan, and then you've got the whole true crime community trying to clout shark off of him every chance they get. Like, the case doesn't make sense. Stories don't make sense. Theories don't make sense. A lot of it just never made sense. I highly doubt that anything comes from the lawsuit against Ryan. I don't think he cares all that much about it. I mean, that's about it. That's about all I've got to say about it.